So today I want to I did a masterclass in my membership group earlier last week about fear of failure. Now, fear of failure covers many different things, and fear of failure can come up two prongs. So one is fear of failure and the other one's fear of success, and quite often they're sort of molded up together. So for instance, there was a friend of mine who was doing her PhD, and she got a real fear of failure. So as a consequence, she procrastinated and she put everything off so she wouldn't finish this PhD. And actually getting down to the root of it was what was she going to have to do with herself after the PhD. That's when she'd have to step up and actually take responsibility. So as a consequence, if she succeeded in her PhD, it meant that she would have to own the fact that she was good. So fear of failure gets wrapped up in so many different things, and I will see if I can cover them all. At the very end of the live, I intend to finish at about 7, so about probably 6:45, then at 7, 6:45 my time. I don't know what time it is your end. So I'm going to do a beautiful meditation. Now the meditation is specifically training your brain to let go of the fear that is wrapped around success and failure. So hang on to the end. If you don't want to hang on to the end, or you want to log back in at sort of 6:45, that's when the meditation is going to go on. But I'm going to give you the insights that I've got about fear of failure. What happens is as we grow up, we bring on a set of beliefs. As we're growing up, we believe that if we behave this way, we will get that. If we behave that way, we'll get into trouble. If we behave this way, we'll get recognition from dad. So we learn to manipulate the world as we're growing. And what happens is that we bring with us beliefs, because all of our experience that we see in front of us actually is coming from our memories. Because if it was brand spanking new, we wouldn't be able to experience it without the memories. So what we're experiencing in front of us is being assessed constantly by the set of memories that we have in here. So that includes the beliefs. Now, the issue that we've got is when we've got a set of beliefs, those beliefs are attached to our identity, the I am. This is the person that you see yourself as. So I am Lou Henwood. I could be the singing zookeeper. I am whatever. Now, I don't attach to any of my identities any longer. I used to, very much so. But when you can let go of your identity, life becomes a lot sweeter, because you don't hang everything on to whatever it is that you're setting out to do. And you'll forgive me, for the people in my membership group understand that I go off on a tangent frequently. By the way, if you guys are interested in joining the membership group, I do masterclasses every single Wednesday at this time live. And then if you can't specifically make that masterclass, they're all recorded and put into a vault, along with a whole meditation library. And at the moment, it's an introductory price of £20 a month. I don't know what that translates to in euros or dollars, but it's very, very cheap, because each of these masterclasses is worth probably about £40 each. They last for about an hour. And so you get 4 of those a month, and it's up to you whether you see them live or you see them recorded. So if you want to join the membership group, go to my Facebook page, and on the top bar you'll see members circle or members club. Click on that. That's where your payment goes in, and then you can go and join. So we've got there's a whole bunch of them, but it's lovely when people turn up live, because they talk to me. I can't talk to people on TikTok because my eyesight is so rubbish I can't read it. If I put my glasses on, I reflect and nobody can see my face. So sorry, I ain't talking to you. I'm not talking to the guys on the webinar either. I'm just going to dictate to you what you should do. Now, I'm not. You take on board what you want to take on board. Some of it's going to stick, some of it isn't. So with fear of failure, we've got certain things that are going on. Losing face is a big one. Failing, setting up that feeling that I'm not good enough. I'm just not clever enough. Losing face because you haven't been perfect, because if you had been perfect, it would have worked. And fear of being judged. So, for instance, at the moment, I have to send in work. I'm doing some writing, and I'm having to send in work for it to be assessed. Now, normally, that would send me into a sort of, oh, God, I'm not good enough, I don't feel good enough. All of that stuff from my childhood would have come up before I do the work that I do, and it doesn't now. But in the past, it would have come up, and it would have made me feel really, really bad, really scared about the results that were going to come back. Now, the fact of the matter is, if you're fearful of judgment, then it is a way that your identity is trying to protect you. So a lot of these thoughts that come up, we make them wrong, and they're not wrong, but we make them wrong. So that's sort of, oh, I'm really scared. And then you turn around and say, well, you're stupid, get over yourself. That doesn't help. But what does help is you notice the resistance that's coming up. It's like, oh, God, I'm feeling stupid. And then you work with the resistance, not against it. You don't push it away. You don't squash it. You don't tell yourself you're stupid because you've got it. And I'll explain how that resistance comes there. But to give you, to carry on with the story about me having to be assessed with all the work that I'm doing, before it used to really send me into a frenzy. I get really uptight about it. Now it's fine. Whatever comes back, and there is always criticism on there, there's always something on there, but I just see it as it is because I don't take it personally. I don't feel that I have failed. I am taking it as direct criticism, i.e., Lou, you could improve this sentence, or you could do this, that, and the other. But I'm not taking it personally. I'm just seeing it as instruction. And when we get into fear of failure, we get very fearful of how people are going to perceive us, how people are going to judge us. Now, it's up to somebody else to do what the hell they want and think about you in the way that they want to think about you. It's actually none of your business. If you take the way somebody views you personally, then it's gonna hurt, or you're gonna get into trouble. Every single one of us sees the world in a totally different way. I don't know if I could do this simultaneously because I'm looking into two different cameras, but I'll see if I can. If some of you have seen the lives already, then you've probably seen me do this. So if you can imagine, as we grow up, we have certain sort of things happen to us, and little bits of us fracture off. And those little bits of us almost go into hiding, like little kids going, oh my God, oh, I've got to stay alert, I've got to stay alert, I've got to look out for this, oh, don't you go there, don't you do this, don't you do that, don't you do it. So those little negative dialogues that are going on are these little kids, these little parts of us that got fractured off, looking out for the same stimulus that caused the problem in the first place. So to give you an example, if you've got a little guy, he's 3 years old, and he's dancing away in the living room, radio up, he's learned how to turn the radio up, he's dancing away, it's his favourite tune, having a really good time, and his mum comes screaming in, will you sit down and shut up? I'm fed up with you. That kid is going to go, boom, boom. It's literally going to hit him in full body blow. So a part of him is going to fracture off. So a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, however old I was told, so said he was, a 3-year-old is going to go, oh my God, it's really bad for me just to be expressive, for me just to enjoy myself, just to be me. It's really bad. So part of him is going to break off and just stay in that sort of stasis of 3 years of age all the way through to adulthood. So of course, when he goes to the school disco, the last person in the world that's going to get up on that dance floor is him, because that little voice is going on inside and going, no, don't get up and dance, no, you're not Christian, no, you can't get up and dance, no, it'll be awful. So it'll go into things like maybe having to deliver a best man speech. It's the same type of thing. The same response is going to come up with him. Delivering a presentation to his company bosses or what have you, the same type of stuff's going to happen. And we get loads of these happen to us all the way through our lives, but the ones that happen to us as kids literally go straight in. As an adult, we can filter out negative responses and so on that come to us because we've got the logical mind to be able to do it. The problem is what happens when we get a negative response. Those kids come up and take over. They don't let us as an adult stand a chance. They literally put us to sleep and come up and start taking over. So the secret is to actually update those thoughts and those beliefs and those kids that are in hiding, because those kids have been working really hard for all of your lifetime, and all they want to do is keep you safe. And the reason that they go in so easily as a child is because the child hasn't got the filter system, and it hasn't got the sense of self quite. Sense of self still, you know, we keep developing it, but they really go on personally, and they stay at that age. So what happens is all of those creatures come up. When you get fear of failure, all of those like little bits of us go into, well, no, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do it. So you get a whole diatribe of different voices and different squirrely things going on inside, trying to stop you from moving forward to whatever it is. It's a brand new project, saying it's something that you haven't done. Now, fear of failure will actually, I don't want to dive onto that before now yet. You know, when I was saying about the fact that we're all different, because we all have those external parts of us that are trying to keep us safe. So you can have a pair of identical twins, but they will still have a different view on the world from each other, because they will not have had identical experiences. It's not possible. And what happens is that we end up with lenses, and we look at the world through these lenses. It's the only option that we've got, because we look at the world through our experience. So, for instance, I don't know, see if I can do this on double. So you've got your brother or your sister can see the world like that, or your best mate sees the world this way, and you see the world that way. No two of us see the world in exactly the same way. Yet we make the assumption that they do. So fear of failure, partly fear of judgment, fear of being criticised, fear of being told off. That side of it, if you can let that resistance go, remember that whoever is criticising or having a go at you or whatever they're doing cannot in any way, shape or form experience the world the way that you do. It's not possible for them. So whatever they're saying is coming from their experience, not yours. I promise I'm going to get glove puppets for doing these lives. I think it might be funny. I'm going to do it. I promised my membership group that I would get glove puppets, and I haven't done it, but I just think it'd be quite funny. Now, when you get to a point where you're going to step into something new, fear of failure usually comes up when it's a new thing that you've got to do. And, you know, at the moment I'm creating a program specifically for adopted adults, teaching them what I know about how to let go of the pain and break free from the pain of being adopted. But the actual program and the results of the program, obviously, they work for me because that's the system I've put together, which works for me. But I don't know that it is absolutely going to work for the people who come and sign up to my program. So the fear of failure comes up. Now, what's happening here is, let me find my rubber band. We've got beliefs. So these beliefs, if you can think about the little kids trying to keep us safe. Got to keep you safe, got to keep you safe. So they see us going off into the future. This is unknown territory, okay? So they see us going off to the future. Now, I'll give you another example. I moved to the Philippines when I was 53. I was terrified, and that was because I was really going off into the unknown, really taking a step outside my comfort zone, massive step. I think it's a 21-hour flight, massive step, okay? And every single creature inside me, every single little fractured bit of me was going, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I must admit, I was going over to the Philippines to try and escape myself because I was in so much pain that I thought if I actually did a total move and what have you, it would be fine. Weirdly enough, when I got there, guess who was there? Me. But that's another story. So I got all of this resistance coming up. Now, fear of failure is that's what's happening. So you're moving into new territory over here, and all of this lot's going, nah, not having it, not having it, no, 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 not having it. You've got to come back this way. And it creates such discomfort that quite often we'll give up, or we push through it anyway, but it is just excruciatingly painful to do it. So it puts us off moving into new territory the next time. So what we need to do is update those beliefs. So we've got core beliefs. So we've got, the main one I think is, I'm not good enough. So the way that works is each belief, if you could think, the way I work it, a lot of people do it differently, but the way I work it is I think about these beliefs, not as the kids, but these beliefs as little characters. So we create different characters so that it is something that you can look at rather than something that squirms around on the inside of you and just creates a lot of noise up here. When I lived in the Philippines, there was a saying, a seen snake is a safe snake. And what they mean by that is if you know that there's a snake in the bushes, that's dangerous because you don't know what type of snake it is, you don't know if it's venomous, you don't know what direction it's going in, you don't know if it's going to come towards you. But if it's out there in the path in front of you, you know exactly what it is. Now that snake has got just as much right to live as you have. So these beliefs have just as much right to live as you have. But what we want to do is get them into consciousness, to get them onto the path in front of you without making them wrong. You just go, aha, oh, I see that one. A lot of these beliefs just are really old systems that run in our brains that don't help anymore. They're out of date. So for instance, when I was a youngster, when I was, quite a young adult, we didn't have email, we didn't have texts. So we would put, we'd write a letter or type a letter, stick it in an envelope, put an address on it, put a stamp on it, walk down to the post box, put the letter in the post box. Now we can send emails and texts that go in nanoseconds, but it doesn't make the postal service wrong, which what I'm saying is that when we see the belief that's come up and we put it in front of us, we don't make it wrong because it's been serving us very well for a long time. The subconscious doesn't give a damn about whether you are happy, whether you are sad, whether you are up, whether you're down, whether you're low, whatever. Doesn't really care. The only thing it's interested in is keeping you safe. So if we can get some of the thought processes that are going on, the beliefs that are going on in here, that cause the noise and cause the squirms and cause the uncomfortableness out in front of us, then we can do something about them. And what we're doing is we're updating them. So, for instance, the main belief, all of the beliefs are attached to our identity. And when you recognize there's a belief in play, that's when you get an uncomfortable feeling coming up. And that's a belief butting up against the world as it is. Because we frequently try and control other people or get the world to work the way that we want. And I can guarantee that 99% of the time that you're in pain or you're low or what have you, it will be because something's not working out in the way that you want it to. And as a consequence, it causes pain. But we cannot control the world. We cannot control other people. Yet deluded beliefs in here that run in our subconscious that believe that we can. So when you notice pain come up, check in with the thoughts. What's the thought that I'm thinking? Okay, what's the belief that is going on in me to create this thought that's going on? The second way that you notice that there's pain going on is when you go, beliefs going on, is when you go into judgment, when you're judging other people. And when you're judging somebody else, it means that your ego, so your sense of identity, is trying to protect itself. It's fearful of something. So you get into judging other people, or judging other actions, or judging this. And I noticed this big time when I first went over to the Philippines. I'd been there many, many times as a holiday maker. I'd got a property that I'd invested in over there, and it had gone tits up. And I moved over there. I was very lucky, got myself a job and what have you. Well, of course, nothing worked over there in the way that I expected it to work. And me being a Westerner was just really put out, and it really didn't do me any good at all, because I was trying to push my environment to work the same way that I expected it to work. Well, of course it didn't, and I was constantly indignant, constantly feeling put out, constantly judgmental, constantly criticizing. You know, an example, the tricycles over there, it's like a public transport, and it's a motorbike with a sidecar on. It'll carry up to probably theoretically 8, but I've seen up to sort of 12 to 14 people on these things. And it's horrifying to see them, because I'm judging it from my Western standards and expecting them to actually, for goodness sake, conform with the way that I think. Well, of course it doesn't. What I was doing, I was making myself more mentally ill the more I was going on, trying to control this. So public transport, I'd have to walk everywhere, because I hadn't got it sussed that when I flagged down a tricycle, the tricycle would just slow down and I'd hop on it. Well, I didn't know that, so I was expecting it to drop in front of me, just stop so I could get on, for God's sake. And it didn't. It would just slow down and go past me. I thought they were taking the piss, because I was looking at, oh, I should have taken those things out, because I was looking at my life through the lenses that I'd been given. And eventually I had to drop a lot of my judgment, and that's where a lot of my freedom came in, because all of the beliefs that I had to let go, because I would have gone under if I'd have carried on with those beliefs. Now, I have gone off on a tangent. So each belief is there, and it's attached to identity. When I was in the Philippines, I got to the point where I didn't have an identity, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely freeing, because obviously this need to belong from me wasn't feasible while I was over there. You know, white skinned, white, and I was white haired. I wasn't this colour. I'd got bleached blonde white hair, and I was probably a good, you know, 6 inches above the majority of them, including the men. So I stood out like a sore thumb. No way could I belong. Not possible. Not possible. You know, the normal tricks that I would use in the UK would be to sort of emulate somebody and be the person that I thought they wanted me to be a people pleaser. And so I still didn't feel like I belonged, but that was the sort of methods I was using, trying to get into that place. But over there, not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell. Particularly when I moved onto the mainland, where I was absolutely purely surrounded by Filipino villagers. No way I could blend in. And what I did was I let the need go. I let the belief go that I needed to fit in. I needed to belong. I let it go. And the freedom was wonderful, because I realized then that I could actually be the person I wanted to be. Because I wasn't trying to mold myself. I wasn't trying to please people. I wasn't trying to be bigger or better, or what. I wasn't being anybody. I was just being me. It was beautiful. So the beliefs that we have keep us trapped. The thing is, they are subconscious. We don't notice until we start to step outside of our comfort zone. Then they come into play, the whole lot. The flipping committee in here, this zoo, the singing zookeeper, that's why, because there's a zoo going on inside. I've got a very friendly zoo, but I used to have a really vicious, evil, cruel zoo in there, and it was so loud. We all have a zoo. So don't think, oh, we all have an inner dialogue. All of us, we have different voices and so on, some louder than others. So what happens is when you go to step outside of your comfort zone, all of these beliefs come up. So the main belief is, I'm not good enough. So each of these beliefs is trying to find the solution to its belief. Bear with me with this one because it's actually quite difficult to describe, but I'm hoping I'll get there. So for instance, the belief, I'm not good enough, that belief, now think about it as a little personality. So draw it like that, whatever. It doesn't matter. Make it up. So if I'm not good enough is one of your beliefs, for instance, just go into your imagination and create a character out of it. So mine has got really long skinny legs. It's got Doc Martens on, and it's got long arms with gloves on, and it's got a very strange skirt, a little strange dress that sticks out like that. Remember I used to draw dresses when you were a kid, and it's got spiky hair like Dennis the Menace. So that's my I'm not good enough belief. So it's a character now, it's out there. Now that character, that I'm not good enough belief, is working all of the time to become good enough. So it can prove to the world that it is good enough. So it will work its butt off. It will fly through exams. It will please people so that they all praise it. It won't make a ruckus. It will sort of stay vigilant. There's a whole list of traits that I'm not good enough belief has. Now, the issue is if that belief actually gets what it's seeking, then it can't exist anymore. Now, I don't know if you're with me to this point. So I've got a belief, this is Miss Little belief, I am not good enough. I will prove to the world that I am good enough. Okay, here you go, Mr. Belief, you're good enough. Ah! It means it can't exist. So it will throw all of this stuff at you, but will not allow you to have the worth that it's seeking, the good enough affirmations that it's seeking. It will find some way to, oh, well, she's only saying that, or it doesn't matter. So it will find a way to make it not possible to have the feeling that you're good enough. I'm hoping this is making sense to you. And we've got a myriad of them. So my biggest one used to be I don't belong. And, you know, people would invite me into groups. I belonged to a theatre company, blah, 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 and I would find any way that I could find to get a sense of belonging. But it never, ever happened. I always felt that I was on the periphery, never. And it was only when I put the belief down, when I was in the Philippines, when I put that belief down, I let it go because there was no possible way of belonging when I was out there, that I became free. Now, when I'm saying about we have these old beliefs that are running in us and they need upgrading, I'll get onto that a little bit. I'm trying to think of the other ones. So we've got be perfect. Be perfect. So you've got a little be perfect. I don't know what's she like. Is she got a really sweet little bob, and she's got twin set and pearls, and she's got a little handbag. Very smart stilettos and what have you. If be perfect is one of yours, everything's got to be perfect. Just create a character that emulates be perfect. So Mrs. Be Perfect is, her job is to make sure everything is absolutely perfect. What she hasn't worked out is nothing is perfect. So this poor little bugger is working her butt off to get everything absolutely perfect and cannot cope if it is not perfect. So consequently, this person is on a treadmill, on a treadmill, on a treadmill, on a treadmill, on a treadmill. My cousin is one of these, Be Perfect. So everything's got to be absolutely top of the range. It's got to be the best clothes. It's got to be, the kids have got to go to the best schools, and the house has got to be this, and it's got to be that. And she did a beautiful cookery qualification, but it had to be with Prue Leaf. It couldn't be with just anybody. You know, she's very much like that. The thing is, she's one of the most miserable people I ever have met, because she's trapped herself on this treadmill that just keeps her striving for perfection all of the time. Well, of course, if perfection comes along, which it won't because it can't, if perfection comes along, this Miss Be Perfect would have to disappear. Not worthy. Not worthy is another one. So what does she look like, or he look like? Okay, he's a bit of a hoodie. He's a bit of whatever. Right, he's got hood and docks on and skinny jeans with rips in, and he smokes a fag. Not worthy. I've got no idea what he looks like, but I'm just making it up as I go along. So not worthy will go out of his way to make sure that he is worthy. So he won't be trouble to anybody. He will be really helpful. He will be a people pleaser. He will sort of do things so that he gets recognition. There's a whole list of traits. If you want the PDF of all of these beliefs, then please ping me an email. It has got references to being adopted because it's specifically for my adopted program. But if you want the PDF with all of these, so it's basically the belief, what it's seeking, the behavioural traits of that person. And I can ping you, I can send you the PDF. So just send me an email. So the thing is, if ever he gets to a point where he is worthy, then he can't exist. So this is what happens when the beliefs come up when you're trying to do something new. Fear of failure always comes up when you are getting to a point in time where you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. I've got news for you folks. The only place that you grow is outside. Is outside of your comfort zone. The only place that you grow. This is going to happen a lot, but this is the way life goes. So what we do is we get these beliefs out onto the path in front of you, like the snake, and then we update them. We update them, and these things are terrified of losing their identity, because remember, it's part of you. And if you turn around and start fighting with this is going to win, because it's like pushing a beach ball down underneath the water. The more you push it down, when you let it go, it's going to come up and smack you really hard in the face. So what we want to do is update these beliefs really gently, with nurture and with love. So I'm going to find out the time. I don't know what time it is. I have got no idea. And ticky-tocky peoples, I'm sure you're helping me, but I can't read it. Look, and I'm putting my glasses on because you can't see me. It's past. Okay, so I'm all right. And what we want to do is upgrade them. And how are we going to do that? Now, there is different sections to our thinking mind, to our brain. And we've got our ego, our self-conscious, our identity. So this is the thing that, and it is a thing, it's a part of us. This is the thing who thinks it exists. This is the thing that thinks it is. This is the thing that thinks I am. Okay, so the existence of. So this is the part of you that operates through these beliefs and through these memories. And it takes on everything. Now, the thing is that the brain will only send out a certain amount of information because it's processing, I don't know how many millions of gigabytes of information per second, but it can't send all that back at you because you'd never do anything. You'd just be paralyzed with all of the information. So the subconscious goes in and brings out the stuff that it thinks is relevant. The problem is, it isn't necessarily relevant. Now, Colette Stryver is one of the ladies who does this coding. Absolutely brilliant teacher. And she describes it this way. So we're talking about the different parts of the mind and the psyche. when I work, I deal with the body as well. So it isn't just purely mind, it's body as well. And remember, if you want to join the membership group, it is really cheap at the moment. It's £20 and you get one of these masterclasses every single week, and it's recorded. So if you miss one, you don't miss anything. You just go into the membership group. So go on to my website, Members Circle, not the sign-in bit, Members Circle. Go to the payment platform, £20 a month, and it will stay that for life. It won't go up and up and up and up and up like a lot of membership groups do. So come and join me in there. I look forward to seeing you on the lives. Okay, so we've got the ego, the idea of self, the identity, the self-conscious, okay. Then we have got the unconscious. So a lot of the unconscious works automatically. It doesn't do a lot of thinking, it doesn't do a fat lot, but it's fine, it's running. So for those of you who drive, how many times have you driven off to work, or you've gone somewhere, got to where you've gone, but you haven't taken any notice of how you got there? You can't even remember driving. That's unconscious. So it's just unconscious work. When you're using a pen, when you're writing, you might be thinking about the words that you're using, but the actual action of writing is now unconscious. You don't need to think about it. It doesn't need to be there. It just runs in the background. So unconscious is beating your heart. It's keeping you breathing. All of this stuff is going on underneath. You don't need it. The subconscious listens to your instruction. And the way Colette describes this is, and I'm going to come to the fourth bit during this story. The way she describes it is, you've got a lovely restaurant. You go to a restaurant, it's hundreds of years old, this restaurant, and they've been cooking out of this massive recipe book for since the restaurant's opened. And you go in and you sit down and you order an apple pie. Great, so the waiter trots off into the kitchen. So this is your little instruction to the brain. Trots off into the kitchen, and there's the chefs and all the kitchen staff in there. Apple pie, please. Yeah, no. So they go through this big, ancient recipe book, and they get all the ingredients out and they follow this recipe meticulously. And then they send it out to you. The waiter comes out, gives it to you. You open it up, and it's got tomato sauce in it. Sorry. You're going to have to send it back. Sorry. Can you get them to make me another one? This just isn't right. So off they go in the kitchen. They go to the page in the book. They're reading. And it comes back out. Guess what? It's got tomato sauce in it. Because it's the only recipe in that book. Now, what we have got is we've got like a supervisor up there. We've got a supervisor that doesn't get involved in anything until it is asked to do this, but we don't ask it. So we go in and we say to this supervisor, listen guys, thank you very much for listening to me, but this is the issue. Can you please go into the kitchen and see if you can sort this out? Yeah, no problem. So off it goes into the kitchen, rewrites the recipe, rips out the old one, puts in the new one. So the kitchen staff, make an apple pie, out it comes, perfect. So that's what I mean about updating. But you need to engage this part, this quantum part of the brain, to help you update it. So I'm going to do an experiment with you. So sit down with it for a minute. Okay, where are we time-wise? Sorry, this is going to happen quite a lot because I'm aware that some people are coming back for a meditation in just under 10 minutes, which is fine. So let's have a go. So with the fear of failure, think about something that you are wanting to achieve that's bringing up this sort of resistance, this stuff. Think about that now and just notice where all that resistance is coming up in your body. Okay, now what I want you to do is just for a minute, pretend the resistance isn't there. Just get it out of the way. Just push it to one side. This isn't what I'm recommending you doing, but just for the sake of doing the exercise so you can notice the difference. Go into the end result. So the end result, the resistance that's coming up with me, for instance, with the writing. So I'm going into the end result, the fact that I've written all of the stuff that I need to write. I've come through it. I've done the work. So go into that space and just feel You've done it. You're there. It's done. Okay? Go in and feel what it feels like to have achieved what it is that you have had the resistance to. Go in and feel it. So feel it in your body. How does it feel? Just what can you experience? Can you see things? There are the people there. Are there, noises? Is there tastes? Is there sounds? Just go into the feeling of what it's like, that it feels like. Okay. So now back to the present time, and so if we look at that as the completed, whatever it is that you've chosen, your end goal, okay? And this is now, where is your resistance? So give yourself, Chris Duncan does this really well. So give yourself a scale of 1 to 10. So the resistance is here. So the most excruciating resistance, say, is 10. Okay, so give yourself a number and then remember what the number is. So what I want you to do is breathe in with me, and I need you to give me permission to talk to your quantum consciousness. Remember, this guy is going to go into the kitchen and rewrite that recipe. Remember? Okay, but I need you to give me permission, because it won't listen to me unless you mentally in your head say, I give Lou Henwood permission to talk to my quantum consciousness. You can observe, doesn't make any difference. I'm not asking you to do it, but if you do it, got to give me permission. Okay. So I want you to just breathe in. Give Lou Henwood permission to talk to my quantum consciousness. Quantum consciousness, are you there? And I want you to go and have a look at the beliefs and the part personalities that these beliefs belong to. And please go in and do a change history to perfection. And please tell these part personalities that they have done a fantastic job of healing and protecting and looking after me. Please, quantum consciousness, go in, tag history and events that are related to these part personalities that have been standing out in vigil, in protection, and bring them back to the whole with gratitude, with thanks, and with love. Please bring that back now. Please go inside and look at the part personalities internally. The wounded child, crying child, the playful child, the judge, the jury, the persecutor, the prosecutor, the defender, and the warrior. Please go in and do perfect change history, bringing back the wisdom that these part personalities have. Thank you. And any resistant external part personalities, please invite them back in from the dark with warmth and with love, and ask them to come back to the quantum whole, where they will be safe, they can relax, and they'll feel love. Thank you. And please go in and do perfect DNA change history, enabling all of these parts to come back into the whole. And then all of those beliefs are now in front of you. And what I want you to do is put them into a cube that's made of perspex, so you can see through this cube. Clear perspex with a lid on top of it. And put all of those beliefs that are now all floppy and soggy, because there's no substance to them at all. because all of the owners of those beliefs have come back into the quantum hole. They've been reclaimed by you. Put all of those beliefs into that cube. And I want you to walk towards that cube in your imagination and stand on top of it. And as you look down, you notice that it's ice. And as you look up, you see that you're standing over underneath a beautiful wide range shower head. And you turn this shower head on and it rains down over you under the perfect temperature. And you notice that this block of ice is melting, 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 and it's washing down the drain. And eventually you're standing on the ground. Beautiful. And thank you. You come back to me. And now what I want you to do, take a stretch. Take a stretch, because we just rewired your brain. So there's your final outcome. So the project, the goal, whatever it was that you set. This is now, just go in and see how much resistance there is to achieving that now. Now, for the majority of you, it will have dropped considerably, because what we've done is we've updated the resistance, the memories that are coming up, and the belief systems that you had that are stopping you from moving forwards. Okay? So, the thing is with life is that it's going to constantly be like that. So you get the resistance that comes up, you resolve the resistance and move forward. Then the resistance will come up in a slightly different way, and you resolve it and you move forward, and you resolve it and you move forward, and you resolve it and you move forward. And that's the way it is. But rather than when these uncomfortable feelings come up, you make them wrong. They're not wrong. They are just resisting where you want to get to, and all they need is some nurture, some care to get them into consciousness and bring them back to you with love, so they can relax, they can let you go forwards. Okay, so let's do, I don't know if I can do this. I was going to say I was going to do a meditation with sound. Let me see if I don't think I'm clever enough to do it. Let's try it. I was going to try, but don't tell me off if I don't do it. Let's have a go. Oh, bear with me. I'll get there in a minute. I'll just sing to you in the meanwhile, while I'm just finding my meditation. I don't hear anything at all. Okay, it's going to be a soundless meditation, as in musicless meditation. That's a shame. That is a shame. It's not playing. It is playing, but there's no sound coming out. Never mind. Never mind, never mind. Anyway, in the membership group, there is loads of different meditations in there, and I add to them. I add at least once a month. And if you are doing a meditation to really shift your consciousness, to shift the way that you're thinking, so that you end up feeling good about yourself instead of all these beliefs keeping you trapped where you are, then I recommend you do one a week. You do the same one every single day for a whole week, and it gives the brain a chance for those neuro pathways to settle in. And the other thing I recommend is, if you've just done the recoding with me, then I want you to really look after yourself today, because you've done some serious hard work up there. Even though it didn't feel like it, the brain has worked quite hard. So drink plenty of water. Nurture yourself. If you're on the other side of the planet and this is the beginning of your day, then you nurture yourself during the day, okay? If you are in the UK and this is the eve of your day. Don't go out and get shit-faced. Just really relax, have a really luxurious evening, do something that's going to make you feel good. If you can get out and walk, that's beautiful. So nurture yourself after you've done the exercise. So what I want to do is I'm going to give you a lovely strengthening exercise to do. So we'll probably run over. See, I can't do anything without my glasses in there. All right, got 10 minutes. We'll probably run over, but hey ho, who's counting? So what I want you to do is get yourself nice and comfortable, drop down into a lovely state of relaxation. And breathing in through your nose, and with every breath out, you're dropping deeper and deeper and deeper into a beautiful state of relaxation. Going lower and lower and lower into beautiful feeling of just letting go. Right at this moment, there is nothing that you need. Right at this moment, you have everything that you need right here, right now. And that actually is the case all of the time. And as you drop deeper and deeper into a beautiful state of relaxation, you see in front of you a staircase going down, down, down into the darkness. And you know that that staircase is going to take you somewhere beautiful. And you're relaxed as you take that first step down. And you relax and let go even more when you take that second step down. And third step. And fourth step. And fifth step. And sixth step. 7, 8, 9, 10. And at the bottom of that staircase, there's a door in front of you. And you open the door and you walk out into a beautiful, tranquil glade. And there's a babbling brook running through. You can hear birdsong. You can smell grass and flowers. And there's a gentle breeze on your face, which is warm and welcome. And you sit in this beautiful glade, a place especially for you, and you drop down inside you as you sit there fully relaxed, dropping down inside into a beautiful, wide open, dark, deep, safe space within you. And you look down, and in front of you there is a seed. And I want you to pick the seed up with both hands and nurture this seed with love. And now plant it in the soil in front of you, right at your feet. And next to it, plant a little flag so you know exactly where it is. And float up, 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 up into the sky, looking down at the flag, up, 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 right out onto the edge of our atmosphere so that you're looking out into the infinite universe. And you know that you are absolutely safe. You are made up of the matter of the universe. You are made of stardust. You are safe. And float yourself back down your timeline to the point just before you were born. And you notice in your system, in your body, there's a beautiful, warm, golden glow. Notice where it is. And you're going to float forward along your timeline to the point where you planted that seed. And as you float forwards, you notice difficulties that you overcame, sadness that you've recovered from, adversity that you've tackled, problems that you've had and you've lived through, joyful times, happy times, wonderful times. And each and every one of these memories has got a beautiful sparkle of gold and stardust that pings out as you notice, as you flow through these memories, joining that beautiful, warm, golden glow inside you. And as these sparkles come in, this glow gets bigger and bigger as you move forward down this timeline towards the flag that you planted. And this glow is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is flowing out of your skin. It is flowing through every pore in your body, raining down as you get to this flag, as you get to this seed, raining down as you plant your feet on the floor, raining down onto the earth. And that beautiful gold light is pouring into the earth, and the seed is now throwing down roots, going deep into the earth and straight through the center of you. The shoot is coming up through the middle of you, and the branch is coming out at the top of you, reaching out for the sunlight as you are pouring this beautiful golden rain-like substance onto it. And the tree is reaching up its beautiful branches, and its trunk is getting stronger and wider and stronger and firmer, and those roots are going deeper and deeper and deeper. And this beautiful golden glow inside you is now coming out and up through those branches, falling down onto the ground, into the roots, and the roots are sending up beautiful silver cleansing light up through the center of you, joining the golden glow as it comes out of the top. And this continual flow is there all of the time. And as you are there quietly noticing, as storms come and rain batters the branches and the leaves fall to the ground and the trunk is pushed and rocked by the wind and the rain, that trunk is getting stronger. With every resistance that comes up, that trunk is getting stronger. And the rain that's falling from these storms is nurturing those roots, and they are getting deeper and broader. And out comes the sun, and those branches grow even more, and so do the roots, and so do the trunk. And those leaves unfurl, and those blossoms open their beautiful faces to that sunshine. And then heavy wind blows all of those leaves and blossoms away. And yet that trunk gets stronger, and those branches reach out to the sky, and the sun comes out, and those blossoms open, and those buds open, and those leaves unfurl and just soak up that sun. And here comes the snow, dropping all of those leaves, and you stand there bare branched, knowing full well that it is fine to be still and to be quiet and without growth for a short time, where you replenish, and then the sun comes out again and the snow melts, and those beautiful leaves and those beautiful blossoms open and sway gently with the wind, with the sun on their face. You stand there knowing how strong you really are, knowing that you weather everything that comes your way, just flexing with the resistance, rather than pushing against it. Just noticing the resistance. It gives you strength. And you let it go. And coming back to me on 3. So when I get to the count of 3, you're going to be wide-eyed, looking at everything with wonder. Everything's going to look brighter. Everything's going to sound magical. All the colours are brighter. The smells are beautiful. The sounds that come to your ears are delightful. The things that you touch, you really experience, and the feelings that you have inside are beautiful. And you love them with no exception. And 1, knowing that that place that you have just been, you can go to at any time because it is there, right there within you. 2, also knowing that you are safe. All of the knowledge that you need, when you can just put down your identity, all of that knowledge is there. You have everything that you need right there within you. And 3, back, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, everything's brighter, the colours are brighter, everything's exciting. Every time you feel fear coming up, or resistance coming up, just turn it into curiosity. Oh, what is it that I'm resisting? What is it that's exciting? What is it? And I want you to breathe in 3 times, and every time you breathe out, you turn the corners of your mouth up, hopefully showing your teeth, so that you're stimulating these cheek muscles, sending a message to the mind that you can relax. 1. 2. 3. Lovely. Now, so if you'd like to come and join me in the membership group, okay, it's £20 a month. It is a really, really silly low price, and it stays there. So you get a live masterclass like one that you've just had every single week. Now they're worth about £40 each. So you get 4 of those a month. You've got a whole vault of meditations that I keep adding to. There are interviews with other coaches and therapists, and also little mind hacks. That is a mind hack. So if you ever get anxious and uptight, you're sending a signal to the brain to stand down, everything's a-okay. So that's a mind hack. It's a whole little vault of mind hacks that go on. I add to them as I learn new ones, okay? So it's really worth every penny that you're spending. And if you can't make a live masterclass, then they're all recorded. Also, you will be invited to join every Thursday a live question and answer session. So you're actually on a Zoom looking at me. I can see you, everybody else can see you. You're not allowed on the Q&A until unless you're on camera. But any questions that you've got, you bring it to the Q&A, so you're invited to that. So again, we're looking at another £40 session. So you're getting, it's about £230 worth of goods for £20 a month. And I'm not cheapening it, I'm doing it so it's available to people who can't spend fortunes on getting themselves whole. So it's my gift to you. I can't do it for free, otherwise I would starve. So it's my gift to you for £20 a month. Go to my website, go to the Members Club or Members Circle. I can't remember what it's called, but Members Club, Members Circle, not the signing, Members Club, Members Circle. Log on that. It will give you a payment gateway, and then you'll be allowed in. And there's a whole ream of ex-master classes that are recorded already, so you can do loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. I recommend, most of them have got codes on, which is what we've just done. We've done some coding. I recommend that you only do maybe 2 codes a week. Otherwise, you're going to scramble this. This is too much for the brain to settle in. It needs to settle in. If you remember when you were writing, when you were learning to write, it took quite a lot of practice to get there. So don't give it too much. And if you would like the PDF on the beliefs, just ping me an email to Lou at the Singing Zookeeper, and I'll get them out to you at some point during the week. Okay. Now I'm also launching my program specifically for adopted people, and that's going to be launching. Where are we? Ooh, midweek. next week. So the 1st of June, no, 1st of July, I'll get there. The 1st of July, I'm launching it. So if any of you are adopted and you really want to get to that part where you just feel that you belong and that you reclaim all of those bits of you that are missing, that empty sort of space inside isn't hanging on to you any longer, then please book a free call with me, because I'm going to ask you to come and beta test it. Now, that doesn't mean that the content's no good. It just means that the flow of it, I get feedback from you. So you do a little bit of work for a very much reduced price. Or anybody that you know who is affected by the issues of adoption, then please send them my way. It's been lovely. I haven't done a live for months, it feels like, and it's actually been rather lovely. So give me some feedback, ping me an email, comment on my comments or what have you. So let me know how things are going, and I will see you very, very soon, hopefully in the membership group. See you soon. Bye. That's going to take me ages to shut this down, so you guys can go, because you're going to be looking at the top of my head while I put my glasses on and shut everything down. So, I can stop that one.